and we are at a place where we are picking a baby name. And I already did the girl list, and now I'm gonna do the boy list. Hello again, friends. Amy Sylvester here. I am so excited to be doing this video because it means we're continuing along in our adoption journey. Whereas the boy list is way longer because we're having a hard time landing. So bear with me and I will share with you all of our faves. Some are more his faves, some are more my faves, and now we're gonna have to find something we both really like. So we are gonna be using this name pretty soon, hopefully. And if you have suggestions, we'll take them, we'll add them to our list and see if we both can get on the same page. So here we go, let's jump into our favorite baby boy names. If you saw the girl list, you'll see that you already know that I love names that are like connected to our family or to a person we really respect. Like we named Hudson after a missionary to China. Graham is named after Billy Graham, and their middle names are tied to family and close friends. So that is not different when we are naming our third child. And so I'm gonna just start off with a long list of names that show up in either my side of the family or Corey's side of the family. And it could even be like a couple generations ago. My dad's side in particular is really big on like ancestry and like looking, like we have a lot of his like family tree for generations and generations, and so it's kind of fun to see and like look through and pick names that go well with our last name and with our family and kind of our, clearly we like last names as first names because we have Graham and Hudson. Those are both a lot of times last names. So, and they just feel strong and whatever else. So, all right, let's jump in. The first one is, I love this name, and it is a family last name a couple generations ago, is Benson. I like the name Ben a lot, and I feel like it's like lasted for like, from when I was like, for many generations. You can meet someone of any generation that could have the name Ben. It's been used in my family, but I really like it because you could do Benjamin, but I really like the twist of using Benson. Again, it was a last name, and I like the idea of using it as a first name or a middle name. Love it a lot, actually. This one, don't judge. It's Webster, and it is in my family. I just think it'd be so cute. I did know a Webb before. I just think it's a super cute name, Webster, and then call him Webb. That's one I can't get Corey on board with, but I do like it. I got to move faster because I got a lot of names. This is a family name. All of these first few are family names, so I will quit saying that. Is Mills, and it's also a last name, but I think it'd be so cute. Can you see a little boy running around with the name Mills? I feel like he needs to like be on a soccer team or something. The next one is Campbell, and it's a last name too on my mom's side a couple generations ago. I love that name, Campbell. It just seems strong to me. Next, this is on my dad's side, is Wallace. And of course you have to think of William Wallace. So like this guy's gonna be like a strong warrior, right? So love the name Wallace. I don't love Wally as much, but you could maybe do it as a middle name or just stick up and say his name's Wallace and not Wally. I don't know, but I do like it. Harrison, that's on my dad's side, and it has been used in my family, and I love that name so much. And it's another name too, like I'm not in love with Harry. I don't hate it, but I'm not in love with it. So I'd want to stick to the Harrison, and that's what my cousin did. His name is Harrison. Hey, Harrison. So I do love that name, and it is a connection to my grandfather. So love that. Drake, we've already used it, guys. So we've talked about if Graham were not Graham Drake, we would probably be like, Drake would be like way at the top of our list. So we love that name a lot. And then I did just go ahead and include these names that we've already used. You've already probably heard them if you know our family or you've followed any of our channel. We've already used Hudson Taylor and Graham Drake, but I'll go ahead and give them to you if you are looking for some names that you like. They're all last names, but we've used them as first and middle names, and we really like it. And others have seemed to really like it too. I mentioned this on my girl list, and it's Avery. And I know that right now Avery is trending girl. Like, you most of the time, I think nowadays, like if you hear Avery, but like in my grandfather's day, I think it leaned more like on the male side. So I think do what you want, right? So we would use it for either gender, and it's at the top of our list. So we love that name a whole bunch. And my granddad was an incredible man, and so we'd honor him. This is on my mom's side, and it's Jefferson, and my brother's name is Jeff, so it would be a little, you know, wink to him, and I love him so much. But Jefferson, I think, is a strong name. I probably would use it more as a middle name than a first name, but I think it's a strong name, and it is in my family as well. Okay, Mac. This is on Corey's side, and Corey's family has a lot of French names that we have considered, but I feel like everyone for forever will always mispronounce it, just like our last name. Like, we just say Sylvester, even though it's the French spelling, and I guess if you're technical, it should be Sylvestre, but who's saying that, you know? So it's Sylvester. Same kind of thing, like a lot of names on his side. I like them, I like the sound, but I think forever and forever and amen, they're going to be mispronounced here in the US of A. So, but this is one that I would like to potentially use for a little boy, and it's Mac. It's a shortened part of one of his side of the family's name, and I really think it's super cute, Mac. I think it's just, again, maybe a middle name more than a first, but I like it a lot. So Mac. And then we've used this one too for Hudson. He had 3 names. 3 given names, and it's Alexander, and that is family, and I love that, and I love, you know, tying in, you know, as the mom, I'm not necessarily passing on my last name, but it's a way to do that as a middle name. I love it, love it, love it. All right, and then the other one is, it is a first name, believe it or not. Like most people, you know, is Henry, and my grandmother's middle name was Henrietta, and I thought that would be a cute little wink to her, and it's a strong name. Again, I think it's a little bit old school, but I kind of like old school. I'm much more a pearls and classic girl than I am the trendiest of trendy, because the trendy will go out before I can catch on. So I typically go with what's classic, and it's not different with names. All right, so here are some names who they aren't necessarily connected to our family. I just like them. I like them. I think they're strong names. I think they sound good. And I think that I know people with some of these names, and I like those people. So there you go. All right, so I'm just going to go through because we got a lot of them. Okay, Baxter, which I think can be a last name, but I think that's a super cute name. Baker. I know a little boy named Baker, and I think it's so cute. I love that name. Cooper. You like Cooper? I also have Anderson, so let's go ahead and put it together that I love Anderson Cooper, and I have since middle school. So I love Anderson Cooper, always have, always will, and so I love the name Cooper, and I love the name Anderson. I would not use them together because of Anderson Cooper, but I do love both of those. Those are 2 that I can't get the hubby on board with, but we'll see. Persuasion, right? Okay, this one, I know people are going to be like, what? That's a little out there. I first put the nickname, and then I thought, what if you put the whole, anyway, I'll just tell you. It's Oxford. I think it's a little bit out there for me. And I don't have ties to Oxford. I just, you know, I don't have that connection. But if you did, then maybe you would want to use it, because I initially put the name Ford. I think that's so cute. And again, I don't drive a Ford. I don't own anything Ford. I wouldn't even necessarily connect it to the Ford cars or trucks. I just like the name. I feel like it's like a cash or something. I don't know, it just sounds really strong and Ford. So you can name him Oxford to give him a little bit of that prestige, and then call him Ford. I don't know. Again, I think it's a little bit out there for me, but I liked it enough to include it on the list. The next one is Cash. I feel like Ford, Cash, I don't know, there's something connection there. And then the next one is Dean. So like, I feel like those, maybe they're 4 letters, I don't know. So I like, there's Ford, Cash, and Dean are my like shortened names. I love all of those a lot. My next one is Miles. I think it made me think a little bit of Mills, because I mentioned that as a family name, and I really liked it. And Miles is a similar kind of connection. So that's on our list. Wells. I knew a little boy when I lived in New York City, and his name was Wells. I don't know if he had like a longer name and Wells was his nickname. He was like one of the cutest kids ever, and so it just always stuck with me. So I love the name Wells. What do you think about it? I don't even know like its origination, and I didn't look up meanings for any of these. I didn't have time. You can do that. Let me know if there's one that you really like or a meaning I should know about, but I just picked the ones I liked, so I didn't go into all the meanings. I do know most of the meanings, but I'm not going to do it here today. This is a last name, and we actually, growing up, knew a family with this last name. We've not kept in touch, but it's not why we would pick it. I just like it. It's Bryant, and it's a little play on Brian, and my cousin's name's Brian. I love that name. I love him. I like the name Brian. But I think to kind of give it a little bit of a more modern feel, maybe do Bryant. So yeah, I like it a lot. Again, a lot of these I'm thinking middle name. So what are we going to do as the first name? I don't know. So, but I do like that name. It could be a first name for sure, Bryant. I think that's a strong name. All right, so I'm going to have to plow through to get through this. You guys are going to be watching all day. Knox. I love the name Knox. This is another one I'm not sure I can get Corey on board with. And some of our like dearest friends, my parents' dearest friends who practically helped raise us in our younger years, their last name is Knox. And it just means so much to us. So, but I think it's a little bit too out there for Corey, but we'll see. I would like to use it somehow, but I don't know if I can get him on board. Hobbs. I thought Hobbs was a super cute name, and I know you're gonna think it probably of like, isn't there like a comic or something? I just thought it was unique and different. So Dawson is probably like top of my list, and I have really good friends who have sons, Dawson and Hudson, so it'd be funny if we chose that, because then obviously our Hudson's in heaven, but then we would have a Dawson and a Hudson. So I just really love that name. It's a strong name, and yeah, it stuck with me for a long time. And then kind of similar sounding is Dobson, and it's a last name too. I realize there's a trend here with the things that I like, but Dobbs, you could kind of call him Dobbs. I don't know. Again, I'm always thinking of the nickname. The next one is Bentley, and that one is kind of in my family, but I have heard it in other, like as a first name, and I thought it was cute. I think Bentley is a really cute name. What about Dylan? And okay, that is going to age me a little bit, but I obviously am going to think of Luke Perry. We miss Luke Perry, but I have always loved the name Dylan, and I feel like it's been around for a long time that it's still trendy enough that you could use it now, even though it was probably used even more like when I was younger. And this is a name that I would love to use, but I cannot get Corey on board. That's probably like at the top of my list, and I do have friends who have used it, and it's Sawyer. I just think it's a super cute name. Once again, a last name, but I like using last names as first names. So, but I love Sawyer, and I just think it's super cute. Sawyer Sylvester. Sounds like he would like run the world, right? This one is a Corey throw-in, and he has loved it since before we got pregnant, before kids. He's thrown this name out there, and I will say it wasn't at the top of my list, but it has grown on me. I think because of the strength in it. It's Marshall, and I think he thinks of, a strength and like a leader, and so I have a hard time thinking of like, what do you call a little kid? I feel like I can picture an adult named Marshall much easier than I can picture a kid, but that's one of Corey's like top ones, so I thought I would include it. Baylor. And I love this name. I don't have a connection to the college or university, but I thought that Baylor, you could even really use it for a girl, couldn't you? But I like the name Baylor. I think it's super, super cute. Okay, this one is, I don't know what people are going to think about this, and I feel like it's probably like something that could take off if I don't know. It's Keller. It's, like Tim Keller. And I used to work at Redeemer years ago, and I have the Kellers, that family, Tim, Kathy, they have a special place in my heart and just in my formation as a person, as a Christian. So I love their writings and all of their teaching, and so it would be kind of a tribute, I guess, to them, and I would probably use it as a middle name more than a first. And it's one of those things we just don't have a plan yet, but it definitely was on my list because I love that family and I love the name. I think it's strong, Keller. clearly I like strong names. I keep saying that again and again. So that must be part of my criteria. Logan. I really like Logan. I think it is common, and I just feel like it's super cute. I can picture a kid with that name and an adult. I don't know why some names feel like they fit better for kids than they do for adults, but I need to speed up or wow, we're gonna be here all day. Landon. I know some Landons. I really like that name. I loved Michael Landon, and I love Little House on the Prairie and all of that. So even though that's kind of old school, I really like the name Landon a lot. This is another one from my hubby, is Barrett, and I really like the name of it, Barrett. I feel like it sounds strong, and I do know a Barrett, and he's a really upstanding guy, and I don't know, I just really like that name, and it's not too common, but it's cute enough and strong enough. I feel like, yeah, I like it a lot. With that, and I don't know that my hubby would ever go for this, is I told him I really love the name Rhett. And, you know, you could give someone the frankly my dear speech if they didn't like the kid's name. But you could name your child Barrett and call him Rhett. I don't know, like kind of like my Oxford and my Ford. I don't know, we'll see. But I love thinking of a name, thinking of the nickname. All of that matters to me. And then my last one for this list is, did I say Bennett already? Did it start? No, I didn't. That was Baxter on my B's. Is Bennett. I like that name a whole lot. Again, it kind of is like the Benson. You could still get the Ben from as the nickname, but you're kind of doing a little bit different than the more traditional Benjamin, which I also love. All right, now I have just a few left. Hold on, folks. And if you are a North Carolinian, you might like these a whole bunch. You might like them no matter where you're from. But these are just like on my girl list, I had Caroline, and it was a little, you know, nod to my North Carolina roots. I haven't gotten to live, I want to live in North Carolina at some point soon, but we're not there yet, and I haven't gotten to live there for a really long time. So these are my North Carolina connection names. And I always did Hudson River. I lived in New York. Like those things matter to me too, just like the heritage. I think you're getting my groove with the kind of names that stand out to me. I just have a few, but these are my winks to my Carolina on my mind kind of girl. One is Duke. I love that name. I love that name, and I would absolutely love to use it. I don't, again, my sweet husband may not let me go for it, but I absolutely love the name Duke. And my grandfather would be so proud because he was a Duke fan, which made our family Duke fans. There you go. This one is Winston, and there is a town in North Carolina named Winston-Salem. And so it kind of, I don't know, I like the name Winston probably as a middle name more than a first. And I also have Salem on there. I would not use Winston and Salem together, of course, but you could do a combination of Winston with another name or whatever, and Salem with another name. But I thought both of those are kind of nods to North Carolina. And then Raleigh, what about that? That's the capital of North Carolina, and I just absolutely love it. And a friend of mine years ago told me that her granddad's name was Raleigh, and I ever since then, I've always loved it. I think it makes more sense that if we were going to raise our family out of North Carolina to name our child Raleigh, because it's kind of like a wink to back home. We would still do it if we are hoping to move back there. We would still do it even if we lived there, but I feel like it would make a little bit more of a deeper, sweeter connection if you didn't even live there, you know, because it's those roots you're kind of nodding towards. And then my very last one is Mitchell, and there's a college in North Carolina named Mitchell, and I actually worked there and loved it, and I just think that's a strong name anyway. It's also kind of a last name that's kind of can be a first, and that wraps my long list of boy names because I'm so indecisive and cannot figure them out. But the girl name is way shorter, and I feel like we have a few on there that we could just roll with, I think, whereas the boys, we don't have a plan, people, so we have some deciding to do over the weeks to come, and we will reveal gender and all of that. And like I said, regardless, we are matched with a baby, and we do know the gender, and we're excited to share it with you soon. But you know the journey of adoption means that you it could happen or not. And so we, just like we have girl baby clothes in our house and we have boy baby clothes in our house, that's gonna remain the same. Just like my list, my boy and girl list are still fresh and ready to go, because we don't know until it's all said and done. So thanks for sticking around for my boy list. I'd love to know your top list, whether you're pregnant or whether you're adopting. I won't steal all your names, but I will say, like, it's okay with me if people use my list. Doesn't change anything for me. It's kind of sweet. So thanks guys. Thanks for watching our channel, and subscribe so you can follow every piece of our journey. Bye.
Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to hit that big red button down below. Bye.
Thank you.